prize pool and flights and other expenses, 3,000 euros is probably just about fine. I don't know. It's just an idea, anyways. But I would definitely be able. Put it this way: if I had 3,000 euros, I would be able to run a tournament and put on and fly players here to have a 2 or 3 day tournament. That's 100% true. 4,000 would just cover extras or something. Anyways, bottom right hand side is Cass from Starcom. Blue Terran. Our top left hand side, our red Zerg, is Cham. €4,000 unrealistic? I don't think it is. I've done the pricing for an event like this before, and we were doing a bit larger scale then, so it was a bit different, but I think €4,000 would very comfortably do everything. Like, we're talking about probably like flying like 4 or 5 players. Like, we're not talking about a huge event. We're talking like flying like 4 or 5 players and then having 3 or 4 UK players or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, Cham coming across the map here to get things going. Let's see the Reaper going to be coming across and getting underway. Early game TVZ. We're just poking over, seeing what's up. Cham is going to have his drone found here. Oop, locks it once, twice. Obviously difficult to guess where that drone's going to go next. Does it go back here? Does it make the extractor there? Nice try from the Reaper, but just not quite enough there to truly get away with that. Nice to see that extractor coming up here. Over on the third base, Queen from Cham is wandering down towards the down towards the third base to obviously try and push that Reaper away now. Reaper's starting to come over, and he is going to get the drone kill before he can build the hatchery. So, in the end, Reaper is successful. Cass gets the drone, and we'll start to move out onto the map. So, moving out here. Let's see this. Oh my god, the next drone is in some trouble too. Oh my god, he's going to get a second drone kill. Where did the Lings go? They just kind of left this Reaper alone. Cham was just kind of like, okay, I pushed it away once, it's not going to come back. It is coming back. It's right here. And that Reaper is actually really being an annoyance at the moment. Like, so annoying. A couple of Hellions on the way up here from Cass, as we see a Viking on the way up from this starport as well. So, getting that Viking out. Another Queen coming in on the natural expansion. And again, that Reaper hops up, moving towards, or moving back home. I'm going to chill out over here. When is Mana versus Guru? Later on, dude. We're not going to do Guru matches are going to be series 6, 7, 8, and 9 today. 6, 7, 8, and 9. My throat's a bit rough. Alright. A few Hellions dive into the natural and gets 4 drones instantly, but Lings are here to kind of surround and minimize any more damage. Those Hellions are running and running, and they will not be able to get any more drone kills, so it's just the 4. As the Hellions get taken down, the Viking going to come across the top side, and it has been that fusion core coming into place. The Battlecruiser on the way up here from Cass. Getting that set up, getting that ready. Obviously, the Battlecruiser builds have been something that's been a little bit unique as of late. As you see the third base on the way up. Honestly, though, the more Battlecruisers we see, the more kind of responses to the Battlecruisers that seem to be fairly effective nonetheless. Like, We've seen a lot of roach attacks to kind of deal damage and slow the battlecruiser player down a lot until you get set up into a later stage. We've been seeing that sort of stuff a lot, so I would say the BCs are starting to be figured out. I wouldn't say it's there yet fully. Interested to see Cham's take on this, though. Viking coming back out into the center and all the way down to the bottom. Overlord actually comes in towards the main. Going to get fired upon pretty much immediately. He has this Marine and the BC together. Looking funky as we see BC teleports across the map. Jumping in and a drone already taking just a little bit of damage there. So a little bit of damage being dealt as we see these couple of queens poking their way through that battle cruiser. So BC has to keep on trying to escape out over to the right hand side. BC didn't do a lot then. Obviously without Yamato you can't kind of just fire down on a queen right away or anything. Interesting that he skips it, because I do feel Yamato is just something that is essentially just free damage for the battle cruiser, right? Like you target a queen, boom, it's going to die. Obviously it's not free damage because you actually have to invest into the Yamato cannon upgrade, but still, yeah, a little funky, I guess. Hydra's Den coming down here as well. So far in this group, obviously this is just our third series, so we're really just getting going, but we've seen Mana go 1-1. Obviously Showtime picked up his first series win, and Cass lost in his first series. So it's the first time we're seeing Cham. We're actually going to be seeing Cham for the next few games. Cham playing Cass right now, we'll then play Showtime, and then we'll then also play against Mana before playing against Guru. So we're going to do all 4 of Cham's games from this point on. Then we're going to jump into the rest of the Guru games after that, and the final series tonight will be Showtime versus Cass. Hopefully going to cast all of this as well. There's those 2 BCs coming across. Again, looking to just see what sort of damage they can maybe get done here. Meanwhile, Magfield Accelerator and Blue Flame, because Hellions and Cyclones will be the kind of answer on the ground, or the follow-up on the ground here from Cass. And as Cham just going into Roaches, into Hydras. Honestly, one of the most important things I think to get into is just an infestation pit. Get that hive up, because Vipers are going to be so good here for just abducting these Cyclones as they get into higher numbers. Otherwise, you're just always going to be chasing that army away and never really finding the chance to get many kills. It's going to be really tough. Well, a couple of BCs backing away over through the top side. As the scan comes down, a few Hellions going down and coming in, getting some kills in the center. Lock on to a Roach there. Picks it off. A second Roach going down as well. Hydras have to be a little bit careful as they keep themselves splitting up. Here come the BCs, kind of wandering over. Gonna throw down maybe just a Yamato onto the queen. He doesn't have Yamato. I mean, he just could have killed 2 queens here instantly. You know what I mean? Teleports one of the BCs away. Teleports the other. Doesn't stick around until the end. Meanwhile, the Hellions and the Cyclones are looking around to obviously do damage themselves. Coming onto the edge of the creep here. Scan would get rid of a lot of crypt tumors pretty quickly, honestly. Wouldn't be so bad already. There we go. Huge wave of those getting picked off. One Hellion goes down as well, and down on the bottom side we see that 5th base already being taken by Cham. Taking these bases in a big long line, not taking any of these forward bases that are very easy for the Terran player to show up and push into. I like the idea of it. Makes a lot of sense, of course. Bow, 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 bow. Stop singing the soundtrack, Wardy. That's not what people want to hear. So, Cass again applying some good damage, and again I kind of don't mind Cham's response up until now, but I really feel the turning point for him will be getting up a few of these Vipers to start abducting these units. I mean, because so far again, as soon as the Cyclones lock on, there's nothing to stop them. This is nice though, because this is actually a surround, and this army is not meant to be surrounded. It's always meant to have exit routes. And by taking this bottom left base, Cham's been able to kind of bait Cass into a corner and then block that corner down from 2 different directions. So really good play by Cham here so far. And again, I do love this choice of the 5th against what he's playing. It just seems to flow so naturally into what kind of makes sense is, well, I'm just here to try and dish out some damage. They got +1/+1 at the moment. A couple of BCs overhead, taking some damage as well, and already down to half health as these Hydras may want to try and keep pushing forwards here. And again, the Vipers are on the way, and so it's only going to get better for Cham if he waits a little while. as soon as Vipers here, you abduct like 6 Cyclones in and they're just going to die instantly without doing anything. So, as the Queen goes down, obviously Cass gets some counter damage there as he just pushes forwards a little bit. Those two BCs just up overhead as we do see again Roaches and Hydras gathering together. Cyclones on the way out, 4 at a time, +1/+1. Finally about to finish up from Cass. I mean, that's going to help a little bit here as well, of course. Especially now Cham has 2/2 upgrades. He would have started to shred his way through these Cyclones and so on. If they didn't start getting some armor upgrades going. Faisal Jarix Grim coming in with the 100 bits. What he keeps singing the soundtrack, it's what I want to hear. Hashtag charity. Is it now? Alright, well, Roaches and Hydras coming forwards. Nice scan on the high ground, and that's just going to be, oh my god, those Cyclones locked onto so many Roaches. They all just kind of blew up in sync there. Well, here come the Vipers, though, to try and stop that from happening again. Still is just Hellion Cyclones, so, well, we're about to see how effective this really is. The abducts don't go down just yet, and honestly, I feel like Cham moving away is exactly kind of what the Zerg Terran player wants. Like, his army is designed to chase down units that pull backwards, and is designed to pull away itself. He abducted it in a battle cruise. I just feel like, you lose the first Viper, it doesn't really do anything, mistake, and then the second Viper abducts a battle cruiser of all things, and, well, I mean, the BC is not really the threat at the moment, honestly. It's these ground army, and, again, like, 3 high-energy Vipers there should have had 6 abducts. That should have been, boom, 6 Cyclones abducted in instantly for instant kills, and then that fight maybe goes a lot better as you then push down the ramp into it. Just felt like Cham did all of the wrong things there, trying to fight against this. Cass to the top side has a group of Cyclones and Hellions wandering around and figuring out where they want to try and be. And the bottom, some rocks being cleaned up, so just open up pathways on the map. As well, we haven't really seen much of an attack on this direction at all yet, so it's a good opportunity to perhaps get in here, get some depots, and to catch the Terran player a little bit out of position as we do see him flashing in the center. Cyclones, again, locking on, just backing away. I don't think you want to go any further off a creep now, though. There's an abduct on a Cyclone, so gets that kill nice and quick. As, well, these Hydras are getting rid of supply depots. Cham is still the player with money in the bank as well, by the way. 2k, 1k to spend, as he's going to spend that now on Hydras once more. Honestly, I feel like even just, I know I keep saying, but Vipers, more Vipers. Sometimes when we've seen people play against these stars, they go to like 7 or 8 Vipers. Because, again, just mass abducting the Cyclones in. As soon as the Hydras are able to fire more than one shot on the Cyclones before they back off, they die so fast. I mean, these are only 120 health units. They're almost as weak as Hydras. Like, it's crazy. Cyclone lock-ons again, though, and now Cham is just being chased away without really getting anything done. And obviously Cass is just expanding around the map. He's got 5 bases set up here. He's got extra command centers coming down so he can continue to expand as well. It just doesn't stop as we see those Cyclones coming into the top side, locking onto that hatchery, getting that kill there. Just taking even more damage here. And you have to be careful. More abducts in as the Cyclones continue to get picked off. Try and move down this ramp. We see Cyclones again taking just a little bit of damage. Is Fungal growth viable here? Fungal's okay. The issue is you still have to dive so far in as the Hydras to then get the kills, right? And by the time, you kind of Fungal and you stop them kind of moving, and then the kind of, the units are like, okay, you get a couple kills, but then they still just kite away, and you lose a lot of Hydras because you've come so far forwards. The Cyclones in the back are actually able to lock on, whereas usually they aren't able to lock on. So in a way, it's still, I think, less effective than maybe just abducting, because you're just putting your army in a position where you let the Terran player deal more damage. Yes, it would obviously help you to deal some extra damage too, but I just think there are other better options for the Zerg in this situation. Obviously, Cham is a little bit stuck though, because he's traded pretty bad this game. I mean, 17, 18k now to 14.5. Here we go. I mean, look at this. Cyclones all lock on here. Hydras don't back away. And this is what would happen if Fungal Cave was in play, right? The Fungal Growth comes down and all the Cyclones just lock on and everything dies. Because these Cyclones trade so well. That's what you need to do. You need to stop all those Cyclones fight. It's tough. Cass now feeling confident to build 3 battle cruisers at a time. Broodlords are up. And he's just going to be seeing the lock on again. Just getting rid of another queen or so. Broodlords though going to be a little bit scary. Obviously with battles coming in, you have a bit more of an answer to those BCs. Not to those BCs, to those Broodlords. If you can just lock onto the Broodlords as well, though, could be a very good way of just cleaning those out. And as we see, this Cyclone Hellion army pulling all the way back to this top side of the map now. So Cyclone Hellion pulling all the way back up to the top. In the center, we see Broods Hydras. They are gathering together as well. Looks as though they're going to come up to the top side also here. Cyclone's locking on and getting a couple good kills. Corruptor going to go down pretty swiftly as well. Look at all these Cyclones just moving in, and so many Hydras there right away. Broodlings dropping down en masse on top of those Cyclones, as we are going to be seeing the units backing the way to the top. Again, Broods, Hydras. It's here to defend, but I mean, realistically, Cass is going into those Battle Cruisers. I don't even think that is necessary. I think you could win this game with Hellion Cyclone at this point. Woodland's dropping down. Picking up even more kills. Here come the Battle Cruisers on the bottom left base, where a few Hydras are running over to try and help out. Yamato's on the Corruptors. 1, 2. I mean, the Vipers abduct of the century right there. I mean, not really that great. And the Battle Cruisers just teleport away anyways. It's just more damage being dealt by Cass, who's getting himself further and further and further ahead in this game number 1. 4 more Battle Cruisers here. 4 more Battle Cruisers here. What's up with the music? It's just the game sounds. It's just like in-game music. It's always on. I'm glad people are asking about the music though, because usually when the music isn't on, people are like, "Wardy, the in-game music is not turned on. Do you not like the StarCraft soundtrack?" And I'm like, well, it's actually blaring in my ears, so I have to try and fix it on the stream, which is never easy. Well, I mean, a few SCVs got brought across because Cass just wants to free up supply, I'd imagine, at this stage. 74 SCVs still remain after losing the 7 he brought in. Just making 5 Battle Cruisers at a time. And again, the Broodlords are currently a little bit frustrating to get rid of with just the Cyclones, but with Battle Cruisers, you're kind of just going to be able to come in and clean them up eventually. It's just one of those styles of play that you don't just wander across and kind of clean up just like that or anything. As we do see those Hydras and Corruptors. The Vipers as well backing away to the top. Is there a Matcherino link? Just type ! Matcherino in the chat, Faris, and it'll link you right on over to our Matcherino page. Cyclones on the bottom side here, so Hydras goes down. Corruptor locked onto there for a moment as well. We're going to be seeing these Hellions getting rid of a few more of these Broodlings. So a few more Broodlings going down. As you see, oh, well, and again, I mean, SCV is just kind of being given up because Cass wants more army supply. And you can't blame the guy. I mean, again, he's already got a bank being worked on. His work count was very high until this stage, so you could just continuously trade very effectively and just rebuild and rebuild. And now he's just building BCs. He doesn't need the income to be quite as high, so making more room for a larger army. Matcherino's down for maintenance. Oh, that's a shame. You see Hydras and Corruptors moving back around. Well, Matcherino's down, but we do have a deal today, guys, where we're trying to raise money to run an extra tournament on Friday, so talk to more about that in a little while. The Yamato's come down, he just teleports out. Did he actually get all the Yamatos off there? I kind of felt like maybe he didn't. Cass is building 5 more BCs. We're 20 minutes into this game here on Port Alexander. Nice long TVZ. Enjoying it so far. Again, guys, if you just tuned in, it's the WardiTV Christmas Invitational Group C. We've also got Showtime, Guru, and Mana in this group today. We've actually only had 1 game from Showtime. We've had 2 games from Mana, so still a bunch of Showtime action coming up. We've got those Guru games coming in as well, and we're going to be watching the rest of the Cham matches, basically, for the next few series. So if you just tuned in, there's a whole bunch of StarCraft coming your way for you guys to enjoy. At this stage, this is just about trying to trade off these last few Cyclones as more Battle Cruisers come into play. I mean, just in case you don't think Cass has enough already. All he has to do is kill these Corruptors, and if the Cyclones kill a few of those Corruptors as well, I mean, oh, lock on. That should be a bunch of kills. The Abduct's in. Cyclone's actually backed very far off there. Yamato's coming down all over those Corruptors, blowing up what he can. Oh, well, obviously it's a little bit rough because there's nothing to deal with the broods, and those cyclones have to kind of back away a little bit. But as soon as these corruptors die, guys, as soon as they are gone, this is just going to be the broodlords going down. As soon as the broodlords go down, Cham doesn't really have much of an answer here. As we're going to be seeing those battlecruisers chasing in. A whole bunch of broods are dropping. This is looking as though it's probably going to be a GG in the next few moments. To the top side, some cyclones locking on as well. Again, I mean, extra corruptors on the way out. Parasitic bomb drops as well. I mean, all the broodlords are dead now, so the cyclones can actually just come in and lock onto corruptors. And because they're armored, it really means they do a ton of damage against them. And you can see already here, the cyclones are around, just getting a ton of kills. Cham spent his entire bank building corruptors, and means he just has nothing to realistically defend against these cyclones, which are now going to chase away a whole bunch of drones. Damage being dealt, 13, 14 workers going down. He'll get the hatchery too. Across the map, we do see the corruptors are going to press on in, and they are going to chase down those BCs, which he thinks maybe aren't ready to fight again just yet. A whole bunch of Yamato cannons coming down to get this started. I mean, okay, sure, the BCs are taking some damage and taking some losses, but Cass has just got so much more anyways. And he still has those cyclones across the map just dealing so much damage. GG from Cham, Cass. The fact of the matter was, the battlecruisers didn't get, got set in ridiculous numbers because there was no good counter to Hellion Cyclone for such a long time in the game. Guys, I want to bait you guys again for one bit. I want to see if I fixed the donation thing so that it actually works when I'm not on the right screen. So if someone has 1 bit to throw down, that would be really awesome. Andy Man does it. Okay, I'm going to switch screens here very quick. It worked! Thank you, Andy Man. You can't find it? Dude, go to the Wikipedia page. Go to Group C, click on the Group C Matches Show button, and that's the order of your matches. Boom. Boom! Just like that. Alright. Top right-hand side. Thank you, Andy Man. We've got it working, guys. We figured it out. Now everything works. As we have our red Terran player. This is Starcom's Cass. At the top left, our blue Zerg. This is Cham. It's a mark. Wardy bullies Rifkin. I don't think that's true. I think your 1 bit has been severely misled in this statement. The last time I tried to bully Rifkin, I only opened myself up to be bullied in about 7 other different ways, so I mean, by the time you cancel the bullies out, I definitely don't. Because we're a mathematical stream. We do cancels, so if I do 1 bully and he does 500 per stream, I'm pretty sure he doesn't get bullied. But, maybe I'm just a little bit one-sided in this. Maybe I'm just a little bit biased. How's it going, Mark? Good to see you, dude. Thank you for the bit. Thank you, Carago, for the 1 bit as well. 1 bit at a time, guys. We are slowly making our way towards 125 bits at a time, says Coach C. We're slowly making our way towards having a tournament on Friday. I currently don't have a stream on Friday, so I just thought I'd leave it up to you guys. If you want to see a stream on Friday, all of the funds from today are going in towards trying to put a tournament on. So if you want to support, you're going to get a tournament out of it, is what we're saying. So that's where all the bits are going to. Thank you guys for the bits. Thank you, Coach Z, for the 125. Thank you to this Reaper for making the game die. What was that? That was a big lag spike. Wardy bullies Fear Dragon? Actually, that's in control. Didn't you guys know? Honestly, guys, I'm telling you, Vipers are so good against this Hellion Cyclone. It's so much better than you think. Yeah, you think the Vipers just get locked onto and die, but every single Viper can abduct 2 Cyclones. So if you make, 8 Vipers, you will just abduct, 16 Cyclones instantly, and they all instantly die because they have so little health. They just literally disappear. So it's really powerful, honestly. I know you guys don't want to believe me, but it's the best counter to Hellion Cyclone that I've seen so far in this patch, so I kind of hope we see it again maybe later or something, or I don't know. I really think it's a very good way to counter it. Just 7 to 8 Vipers. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, you have to get there. But Cham had the money to go there. He just decided not to for quite a little while. Roach Hydra into Viper. I genuinely think it's the best way. I mean, I'm very happy to be proven wrong. I'm very hyped to see someone do that and still get stomped by it. Then I'll change my mind. But the last few times I've seen it be done, it's been the most effective way of shutting it down. 8 Viper is like 2,400 gas. Well, I mean, yes, when you're going into late game with 5 bases, you can afford a lot of gas though, right? Like, it's like 2,400 gas. Viper's 200 gas. So 8 Vipers is like 1,600 gas. You know how much a Cyclone is? 150 gas. So if one Viper abducts 2 Cyclones, 200 gas is killing 300 gas. So there you go. As Banshee shows up in the natural, I'm just listening to the soothing sounds of Cham breaking down these rocks via Zerglin. He's just Zerglin's nibbling again and again and again. Cyclone's 100 gas, not 150. Really? God, man, being a Terran player is so freaking awesome nowadays, isn't it? I mean, even still. Point stands. It's still a good gas trade. Apologies. Doing all the numbers in my head. It's just math on stream, really, isn't it? Opening here, getting going. Oh my god, Slow Knot comes in with the $50 donation. Holy shit, Slow Knot comes in with the $50 and said, let's go, this is for the Friday tournament. Hell yeah, I'm down with that. Let's do this. Well, that's $50 down, guys. We only need 50 more and we're there. Boom, tournament. Extra StarCraft, more games for you all. Gonna do a Korean server as well, I think. Get all the Koreans to take part. Thank you so much for the $50, Slow Knot. Some hype in the chat, guys. Let's talk about this fight as well, though, because a couple of tanks pushing forwards with these Marines, and Cham is just about to get roaches out, but those tanks on the low ground are not going to be easy to deal with. Queen's going forwards, they have that Spore Crawler over here, but that's about it. He loses one Queen without a transfuse. Busy trying to deal with these units at the front. Roaches and Lings running forwards. Banshee's still cleaning up quite a lot as Cham is beginning to get quite a few kills, and he will get the cleanup, but man, it was not easy. I feel like Cass was fairly successful with this, killing off a whole bunch of units. However, he also lost a lot of his units as well, so I mean, you have to look at this in 2 ways, but he's going mech, so he has more tanks coming out, so he should be safe to a counter-attack. And he's again kept that work count of Cham fairly low here, who's just been spamming out roaches to be able to defend here. Atlas Reformed comes in with a $20 donation as well. I love the bracket, L bracket. For, you know, the throwback to the MSN days. I know it still works on Skype and shit as well, but throwback to those good old MSN days, you know. The love heart. Man, I still type, you guys remember typing this? The +O sad face to make the sick face? Like, that used to make a sick face on all the instant messaging programs, man. All these cool little combos, and like nowadays, all these people are like, what's that? Thank you so much, Alice. We're falling for the $20. Guys, we're going in right now. Now we only need $30 more. We have ourselves a tournament on Friday. How about that? Bonus content. That's what today's about. Bonus content. Unlocked by you guys being awesome. As we see, +1 vehicle weapons, +1 vehicle plating currently on the way down here from Cass. A couple of extra factories coming in on the main base, and those aliens just chilling out to the front. Another tank thrown up to play with them. Why isn't a macro hatchery used anymore? Just depends on what style you're playing. Macro hatcheries are still used very often. Just for roach style, you don't really need a macro hatch. Players also expand a lot faster in Legacy of the Void, so sometimes instead of just taking a macro hatch, you feel as though you may as well just take another base and location anyways, so it's just one of those things that you don't really need a lot of the time, and when you do need it, it is used. It's just not very often talked about, so. How was that a sick face? No idea, but that's just the code you wrote in to make the sick face. It's just the way it goes. Cryptima's at the front, gonna get picked off a little bit as this push. Honestly, Stasis is so good for mech because it's a very split map, you know, it's very generically goes into a split map scenario. But these kind of narrow pathways make it very difficult for the Zerg to kind of push against a mech player. And you come right up onto the natural expansion. Just going to be seeing those Hellbats continue to set up, and just going to be pressing forwards a little bit here. What is this game lag sort of thing that we're seeing? I don't know what that is. Don't like it. 1-1's about to finish up for this mech army. Maybe Cham just, I mean, he's got one of two options. Come in from both angles or go counterattack, right? Or shut down reinforcements. Honestly, coming in and shutting down reinforcements might not be so bad. These tanks are in position to get some good shots off. There we go, then just going to come in from a couple different directions. Bile's coming down the right side. Liberator's showing up to siege, though. He is going to collapse on this army, and Liberator's going down. Tanks will fall as well. Looks like Cham will clean this out. And Cass is once again unable to get too much done, but he does get a lot of workers in the natural mineral line. If nothing else, this is some big damage right there. So 22 drones going down. Very, very nicely done as those roaches, hydras, and the ravagers coming in. Really good cleanup there. 22 kills. Brilliant. Tanks sieging up a couple more factories on the third base. And as the Hellions come scouting down to the bottom side and across over to the left. I mean, if you can get even more drones. It's the one thing that actually really kept maybe Cass in this after losing so much army. Although he rebuilt quite nicely. Obviously, Cham had to spend a lot of money rebuilding drones as well. And so that maybe could have put him just like a little bit further up than where he is right now. And maybe then we'd look at this and be like, well, Cass is in trouble. So those Hellions really crucial to Cass there. And arguably, if those Hellions were maybe down in the fight, they would have, maybe the fight would have gone differently. You know, a few more units to kind of tank shots and to push Hydras back quite nicely. You know, maybe they could have done a little bit of something there as well. As Coaches comes in with a fresh new sub. Hello and welcome, dude. Thank you so much. 125 bits into the sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Get some love in the chat for Coaches. Coming in big. Viper coming up on the main base of C+2 missiles and +2 carapaces on the way down on those Evo chambers. A couple of Hydras popping out as drones go down to a Liberator sieging up. So again, Cass finding some good damage. Nice little bit of creep spread here from this Overlord as you see the creep continue to just drop down. I mean, that's just going to be actually very frustrating because there's no anti-air. Oh my god. There's no anti-air. Is there anything? Don't tell me the Liberator is going to have to kill the Overlord. Don't tell me the Liberator has to kill the Overlord. No. It does, but it's actually not doing it still. It's just hanging around. Gas needs to sort that out. That's actually slowing down his fourth base by quite a large margin here. He needs to try and get on top of that as soon as possible, really. A few Hydras and Roaches coming across the bottom right. There we go. A couple of Vikings and the Liberator together will get the job done. And that creep starts to recede, allowing the fourth base to be set up. But gold base in the center, that won't last very long. Cass will have to cancel that fairly swiftly. Doesn't really waste much time on it. Obviously, this is much more traditional mech Hellion tank rather than Cyclone Hellion. And as you see the first Blind Cloud coming down. But honestly, these Hellions, apart from the fact they don't have Blue Flame, are going to actually do a pretty good job. I mean, if they had Blue Flame, they'd only be doing better. And he's already pushing this back with relative ease here in these early stages. Those three Hellions backing away. Roaches and Hydras from Cham. Back up into the center of the map as well. A couple of tanks just going to get abducted forwards here as you see those Vipers. Going to have some Vikings jumping on them pretty quickly as well. And getting a good little bit of damage done. So Cass just sitting back, defending. Corruptor's on the way up, and Cham going in towards that Great Aspire. But I mean, the fact that Cass is now already building Vikings obviously bodes very well for him having somewhat of a response to Broodlords coming up. And I feel like Cass is going to get ready to push. It's just before he maxes out. One of the big things with mech is actually pushing before you max out is very nice. Because mech units take so long to build, by pushing a little bit sooner, it actually gives you the chance to then have units already in production cycles coming out. So when it comes to reinforcing, or it comes to rebuilding, you actually already have units at home. It's actually something that someone told me one time. It's like, man, that's actually a really clever way of thinking about it. And it actually works really, really well. And it's something that I've noticed a lot since then, that you do never kind of push when you're maxed out as mech. You tend to try and push like 20 or 30 supply before. So that, again, whenever you fall back home, you just have those units there. You also have units to deal with counterattacks too, because the mech army is slow moving, and the last thing you want to do is have to pull it back home all of the time. Vikings, Hellions, and tanks still pressing forwards. You see the creep team again taken down there, and, well, the Spine's going to immediately be in some trouble. Tanks will continue to siege in this hatchery on the gold base. Down very quickly. More Vikings continuing forwards. As we're going to be seeing the spore crawlers. Ooh, nice actually parasitic bombs on those Vikings. They will land to get out of trouble. We'll have to lift back up though to try and actually push back the Brood Lords. Obviously they're coming forwards very quickly. There goes down. Queen's trying to protect the Broods as well. Maybe Cass will just have to be content with having killed off a gold base for the moment, because I don't see much more opportunity for him to get any further forwards. Broods coming in from the left side, and Cass will unsiege tanks and pull them back into the center of the map now. A few more Vikings, a couple more fours coming in as well, going to gather up here. And again, you see the Broodlords still just chilling out up in the skies. Sami will want to press forwards, and here we go. Hellions, Vikings, and Liberators going to start going in on each other. And this is it. I mean, spores are burrowing up to try and help. The Vikings will try and get rid of those Broods. I mean, the Queen's trying to stop them, but honestly, it feels like those Broods will go down. The tanks are obviously taking a ton of damage, though. Those Broodlings are doing their job, but at least the tanks are focused firing on the Hydras and the Queens, so he does get rid of pretty much all of those. A couple of spores. Honestly, I would just give up these couple of Vikings to get rid of as many Broods as possible. As we see, still a tank and a couple fours left over, and it is going to be Cass that wins out in the center of the map. Corruptors and Vipers coming in to the left-hand side. 5 Broodlords on the way up. There's going to be seeing more Vikings and fours coming out into the center of the map as well. +1 flyer attack on the Greater Spire coming through too. You have this army of Cass just kind of wandering around the center a little bit. Has already put himself in a great position now and is looking to try and close this game number 2 out in his favor. What's up, Fatty987? Thank you so much for the 25-month resub, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, these Vikings still going in. Vipers, very nearly getting a kill there. As one of these Vikings will just land on down into the ground. So Viking gets landed and, well, again, just pressing forwards. This army is looking very good at the moment still here from Cass as he comes in, picks off that Broodlord, and, well, this is pretty much going to be it, right? I mean, it's a question of, can these Broodlords clean up this army? The answer is probably no, because the fours on the ground are going to help a lot with the Vikings in the sky. Those Broods will continue to die, and that is truly going to be GG. Cass comes and picks up the 2-0 against Cham.